Who's ready for some more Jews? It's a story time in Tel Aviv tonight. Chicago is a city of ethnic neighborhoods. And I grew up in the neighborhood on the northernmost tip of Chicago called Rogers Park. 99.9% Jewish. And I went to Mather High School, which had a reputation for being one of the finer schools in the city. And there were a smattering of Goyim, if I may, non-Jews. Because you had in Chicago a rule that police and firemen, anyone who worked for the city, had to live in the city. So you had a few children of cops and firemen that went to Mather High School. And then this was the beginnings, 1967, of forced integration. So you had about a half a dozen black kids who rode the subway for 3 hours a day to go to this one good high school in the city. And I can only imagine, I was never there on the Jewish holidays, but it probably looked like, Tuesday afternoon at the Casino del Sol poker room. Just a couple of people hanging around. Well, high school, 14 years old, is trouble enough new things. When I went to Mather High School, I learned something that was so shocking that stays with me, and I want to share it with you today. We had gym class every day of the week for 1 hour. Boys were separated from the girls. 3 classes worth of boys together, 3 classes worth of girls together. And I remember the coach who ran the phys ed class telling us how it was going to work. There would be 3 days of gym class, basketball, calisthenics, all those things, softball. There would be 1 day of health class, hygiene class, and then there would be 1 day of swimming. And he read the rules for us, and he told us that we wouldn't need a bathing suit because it was the practice of the Chicago public high schools at that time to have the boys swim naked. I'm going to repeat this because you're going to ask yourself this later. Did he really say that? I really said that. The boys were forced to swim naked. Well, we had some questions, believe me. We're sitting in Coach Zimba's health class when he's explaining this to us, and we said, "Why, Coach? Why do the boys have to swim naked?" And he said, "Well, it's for a couple of reasons. One, for hygiene. Apparently, somewhere there was a YMCA in the Midwest that discovered there were fibers coming off woolen bathing suits that were clogging the drains." Really. This caused this policy to force boys to swim naked. Now, we were, hundreds of us about to become lawyers in our next lives, asking all these questions. What do you mean? Why don't the girls have to swim naked? Because the girls wore bathing suits. The instructors wore bathing suits. We didn't buy it. Our answer was, bullshit. Coach, there has to be another reason. Tradition. Tradition. You're going to tell a room full of Jews about tradition of boys swimming naked. It better be 5,000 years old at least. We weren't buying that, but this was the case. I'll just say as an aside, how come none of us knew about this? I had an older brother. He never said a word about this. This is the delicate little pleasure everybody who goes through this gets when you don't tell this to the next generation. Well, here comes the incident. Let me set the players for you. I mentioned Coach Zimba. Chet Zimba was a man's man, coach of the football team, a real pull himself up by the bootstraps kind of guy, was part General Patton, part Mr. Magoo. And he used to start every gym class like this. He used to go, I used to do a pretty fair Chet Zimba imitation that got me a lot of cachet back in the day. I'll do it for you now. All right, I want the water polo balls out of the pool and out of the red. Mr. Rothstein's class, line up over there. Mr. Fontana's class, line up over there. My class, line up over there. Get on the side of the pool, face the water, look down, and shut up. That was to start a gym class, swimming class. Let me introduce you to the next key player in this story. Vince the John. Obviously one of the Goyim. Father was a cop, and he was tough as nails, a greaser, always rolling you, robbing you for cash, right? Vince was always needing a quarter to buy gasoline for his motorcycle. And some of you are saying, 14 years old, how did he have a motorcycle? I was 14 years old. Vince was in his late 20s. Apparently he had liked 8th grade so much he did it 12 times. But Vince had a little cachet himself. He was a football star. Apparently he was able to harness this aggression onto the football field, which gave him a little bit of a special place with Coach Zimba. So the coach was a little loose with some of Vince's behavior. Well, he was always intimidating us, right? I mean, Vince was a pretty bright guy. In fact, I know that he went on to become quite a successful attorney in life. But he was pretty clever back then, too, and he used this opportunity of 60 naked 14-year-old boys to do a little intimidation. Which takes us to our next key player. The object of the intimidation. No, it wasn't me. It was Shlomo Glickstein. May I just say, folks, I know we have some young folks in the audience and some future parents, don't name your kid Shlomo. You're inviting this kind of behavior. Shlomo, a quick lesson for you in Yiddish. You probably have heard these terms. Shlemiel and Shlemazel. A Shlemiel is a guy who carries soup to the table and then spills it on somebody. A Shlemazel is the guy who gets the soup spilled on him. Shlomo Glickstein was at once both a Shlemiel and a Shlemazel. He was the guy who carried soup to the table and then spilled it on himself. So come swimming class with all the anxieties, all the self-consciousness of a 14-year-old boy standing naked among his peers, right? And frankly, I've seen 14-year-old boys throughout my life. Most of them look like the Pillsbury Doughboy with acne. Well, we're standing in line, coach does this thing, my class over here, so next class over here, we're standing there, lining up for the attendance, trying not to make eye contact, but I know you're wondering, did I sneak a peek? I did sneak a peek. All right? And I'm happy to tell you that, like the children of Lake Wobegon, I'm above average. Now, there were the two black guys that came up from the south side on the subway. They were sitting there with like a hose in a box, entertaining the crowd, lassoing towels, All right, the incident. So we're in line waiting for attendance and whatever's going to happen in swim class that day, just looking down, trying not to be seen or just being anonymous is what you wanted. And hoping for that great moment when the coach would yell, "Free swim," which meant you could get in the water and you didn't feel naked anymore. So there's a skirmish going on somewhere in the line, and sure enough, it's Vince the John shaking down Shlomo Glickstein. And he asks him that classic greaser question that we all hope we never get asked under pressure. And that is, hey, what are you looking at? Shlomo, in his anxiety, responds, nothing. You calling me nothing? He waylays a punch directly into Shlomo Glickstein's belly. Shlomo goes down like a house of cards. Coach Zimba yells out, "What's going on over there?" He skirmish. He sees the John, he sees Glickstein. He can figure out the situation. This time he wasn't so lenient towards his football star, and he says, "Did John get up here? What happened?" I don't know, Coach. Glickstein said something to me and I hit him. Well, I'll tell you what. I want you to walk right over there and I want a public apology to Shlomo. The John sizes up the situation. He struts over, naked, finds Shlomo Glickstein in line, grabs his penis, shakes it, and goes, "Sorry, man," and then struts off into the locker room. Coach Zimba dumbfounded. There's 60 jaw-dropping naked Jews on the side of the pool, and Coach goes, "Free swim!" Thank you.